Fatherhood, yeah, they straight. Nah, I'm good. Got us straight stuff. Really, mama, take them up, everything.
Welcome everyone, this is Fortified Fatherhood, where we use martial arts as a vessel to build discipline, resilience, and integrity, first in ourselves and then in our children. Every dad fights a different fight, but we're all fighting in the same arena, leading with presence, purpose, and strength. This is Fortified Fatherhood. Welcome everyone to Fortified Fatherhood. I'm excited to have another guest here. We got my man, Bryan Bell. He's a good friend of mine. I've known Bryan for over 10 years. We trained together, we sweated together, we coached together. We also had children around the same time. So we've always kept in contact. We've always been good friends, and it's a pleasure to have him on board, on the staff here.
Mr. Bernstein, it's a pleasure to be here. I can't wait to get some of these questions answered in my own way to help maybe you guys find your way.
So we've been training for a long time. You and I have known each other for over 10 years. Most of our training was predominantly in kickboxing, where consistency and discipline matters. Now, how has that training transferred over into the way you show up at home for your daughter?
Like you said, training in kickboxing almost my entire life, with boxing, a little bit of karate, but the discipline that you spoke about, kickboxing, just in general. Structure, discipline, so many of these things go into everyday life, whether you're raising a daughter or just being a man in general, right? So applying these things to me being a father and, my little 7-year-old girl, it's like me, myself, having this discipline, having this structure, having this organization that I can pass on to, and then also having the patience to teach it, right? Because going through the struggles of waking up in the morning, eating properly, fighting regimens, knowing who you're gonna fight, the techniques that are gonna be applied into the fights, man, there's just so much that goes into it. And then being able to structure that before even having to, apply it to being a father is just like, it's like a head start. I
want to tap into something that is unique to us in the sense of fighters, of how much, people think of fighting as it's a violent, can be a violent sport, but a lot of it is therapeutic. A lot of it is you're getting all your energy and you're letting it all go at home. In a sense, you're filling your own cup.
Right.
You're filling your own cup. You're letting everything out at the gym. You're working, sorting things out at the gym.
Totally.
To help problem solve and be better leaders on the outside of the gym.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how that is important to you, about filling your own cup, taking care of yourself first, and then, having that help you be a leader and provide a good example for your family.
Like I said, been doing it forever from a young age. So just finding, I guess, an outlet in a sense, because crazy kid, doing a bunch of stuff, got a crazy history, always getting in trouble. And my mom finally finding this path, even as such a young kid, 7, 8 years old, to be able to send me away to go box or put me in a karate class where I would stay longer because I was motivated to learn more. All these little things that just kind of added up to this grand thing. And it's hard for me to kind of not even, it's been a part of my life for so much, or for so long, it's hard for me to see even another way. It kind of translates into my teaching as well. I have to kind of slow myself down and be patient with people that have no idea what's happening in this classroom or in any other classroom teaching situation that I'm in. So it all stems back to this, right? To knowing and me growing up around this and being a part of this, and then, man, really transferring it to every single day life with the discipline, with the structure, with the organized, with the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in, right? And the minute that you get in a ring and you have to slow down, of course it's violent. You're beating the heck out of each other. You're kicking each other. You're trying to submit the other opponent in one way or another, right? But in all that time, your ability to slow things down, catch your breath, and organize yourself and your thoughts in the time to see this, and it's almost like you're leveling up in the ring in a sense, right? It's almost like you're catching yourself together and having to slow down to fight this agility or to find this organization to actually win the fight, right? And dude, are you kidding me? In life, every single day, someone asks you crazy things, someone cuts you off, someone says something stupid to you. All of this helps you to slow down, calculate what that person said or what just happened or anything like that, and then organizing in a sense of like, okay, what am I going to do here? We all have choices, right? We all have these things that we can make. And so like, man, fighting has helped me so much, and it's taken me away. It's filled my cup because I go into the gym, I get everything out. I don't think about nothing else. My phone's not on except for my headphones, right? And when I'm ringing, I turn my ringer off. Like, I get in the zone. Whether if I want to box, I box that day. If I want to lift weights, I lift weights that day. If I want to come to Austin, I train kickboxing, do all stuff, I do it that day, because finding that outlet for myself, because I've been doing it for so long, is like, oh man, if I didn't have it, I truly would be lost.
Yeah.
And that's why now with tree climbing and like still finding that thrill in the job and the money that I'm pursuing and you know the career I'm pursuing, it's kind of one and the same in the sense, but dude, there's nothing that will fill my cup for me because of being a fighter, because of being who I am, because of being raised in this, dude, like stepping in, even onto the mat and having a great sparring session with 6 dudes or 7 dudes, like that's, dude, are you kidding me? There's nothing better. I have a huge smile on my face when there's one guy that's better than the other and you learn something from this dude for 2 minutes. You learn a structure of technique that you're like, holy moly, that guy would beat my ass in a regular fight, right? Or you know, here, even if we were going. And then you move over and you have to slow yourself down for someone that's just learning. It's like, oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Kickboxing in general is just like, it's the thing, right?
2 points that really caught my eye on that. One was when you're saying that, you know, certain situations happen throughout the day, you know, maybe someone says something, someone's cut you off.
Right.
You have that moment of clarity, or it's that moment where it's kind of a make or break kind of situation.
Literally.
Real quick, right? You know, and it's like fighting. You know what I mean? It's literally like you have seconds, you know what I mean, to make that decision. So punching you in the face, you can either stop or you can say, you know what, I got to keep moving,
right,
you know, and
right.
make some adjustments.
Yep.
So that, and also when you're talking about being in a sparring match with someone that's better than you, you know, and being humble enough to take something from that and learn.
100%.
So in that sense, you feel that martial arts has helped you with clarity in certain situations, you know, with your daughter, right?
Yeah,
you know, they say certain things, you know, and you feel like that breath work, that training, you know what I mean? It has,
totally.
you know, been able to be like, okay, well, I can either go here and raise my
battles.
voice,
Right,
or,
right.
you know what I mean? Exactly. Pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
Exactly.
Totally.
What martial art or what kind of training do you see yourself showing your girl?
Look, I'm all about wrestling. I'm all about being, and I was lucky enough to play football for a long time. I played lacrosse for a long time. So I learned how to tackle somebody. I learned how to take somebody down. Because of how I was structured, I'm always going to throw my daughter out to throw hands, right? So punching, kicking, kneeing in particular, I mean, elbows are just a plus, right? But the punching in particular, like I said before, us as humans understand to throw our hands. So naturally, you should kind of sway towards that. If you have good hands, you have good awareness, you're sharp, you can respond to things. I mean, man, there's no other way I could take down the fence, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I understand that there are levels to this thing, but me in particular, of course, will introduce BJJ, and of course, will introduce wrestling, but because I'm still currently teaching and she participates in the classes, you know, she's just naturally a striker, and she's been enjoying it, so.
So you gotta break it down, man. We've had some tough rounds, some tough kickboxing matches, you and I, some good sparring sessions.
Hell yeah.
What's tougher, man? Some hard rounds with some beasts, or trying to negotiate a bedtime with the 7-year-old?
I mean, come on. I'll take on a monster all day, right? In the cage, I'm comfortable. In the ring, I'm comfortable. You know, small, big, medium, large, I don't give a shit, right? I like to fight, and I enjoy being in there. So, yes, you know, the like demeanor and the, like everything is intense and everything like that, but like the ability to slow down and all that. But dude, trying to negotiate with my daughter when to go to bed or not, dude, sweets in particular, man, the addiction of our children, like trying to keep the candy canes and the chocolate and all the things away from her is more of a battle, and more, I've found more patience in than anything, truly, negotiating this sugar thing, man. So like bedtime, she's good. We started her good, but the sugar, that's a negotiation. And like not having a treat after every time you eat a meal. So like, you know, I don't know, like for whatever reason, mine in particular got instilled that after you eat a big meal, you can have a little dessert. And I'm like, not every time. Every once in a while you can, but like it's going to catch up to you. So again, going back to the structure, right? Like kind of finding just like a good negotiation point that works well. And of course you should negotiate with your children, but it's different times these days, right? I never got negotiation. It was like, listen, and that's it. Well, and like there's sweets in many different things, right? So apples, bananas, grapes, and all these things. So like finding a good substitute, finding a little negotiation tactic is always good. But dude, as far as being comfortable, throw me in a ring with a gorilla all day.
Talking about the nutrition aspect, I like that, you know, like a lot of times we're thinking about giving them treats, giving them rewards as, you know, for doing things that they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like everything's a reward. You get a reward for this, you get a reward for that.
Yep.
You know, so in the sense of like, kind of like fight training and just keeping general healthy habits on your own, you know, do you find that being a martial artist and having a guideline, or let's say a playbook in a sense for staying in shape, do you think that has helped the way you regulate certain activities that your daughter does? For sure. You know, when she wants, you know, B for doing A, you know what I mean? It's like,
dude, lead by example. Lead by example, lead by example. Always. Your kids, if they love you and they trust you and they confide in you, they're going to follow you. You're going to be a good leader to them. So they're going to do exactly what you're doing, period. And so that's how I do it, right? Like I tell her, I'm like, Daddy works hard. Daddy goes and climbs trees. Daddy eats right. Like, you want to be like Daddy. You want to be like Mama. You know, you want to, we were talking about this too in the community the other day where my daughter was like, we know everybody. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, let's not be too crazy. But the only reason that this is the way that it is because Mommy and Daddy have built this structure around raising a beautiful little family in this small little town and making a good community out of it. And like the only way you maintain that is by, you know, when you show up, you're showing up for the whole family, not just yourself. Mm-hmm. And so like I kind of put that responsibility on myself. My wife does the same thing. It's like, if we don't want her to eat sweets all the time, then how the hell are we going to be eating sweets all the time? And like the sweets that we do choose, you know, the apples and honey or the apples and peanut butter and like all these things, right, is just going to be so much better than the cornstarch and the processed sugar and all the things. The thing is that all their friends do it. And so like as soon as you're in school and you got other kids talking about it and other kids do the lunches, are you kidding me? Like some kid at my kid's school, that's a private school, by the way, that we pay a lot of money for, has ramen noodles in a cup every day. And my daughter sees that and she's like, why can't I have ramen noodles in a cup every day?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So like finding these boundaries and still being, you know, aware enough to be like, she's not bad. That little girl is not bad. Her parents aren't bad. That's their way. Yeah. That's okay for them to do whatever they want to do. But in this family, with our little trio, with our pack, we like to refer like a wolf pack or like a pack of cheetahs because my daughter loves animals. I'm like, this pack does this. And that pack does that. Yeah. That pack lives on this side of the Sahara, and this pack lives here, right here on this land. And so when she can see that and she finds it as like, oh, I'm a part of the pack, and this is how our pack does it, it makes it a whole lot easier for her to understand and to kind of take in that like, oh, dude, this is just our family custom. It's okay that they do that. We're just going to do this.
It's been great to have you, man, because I've known you for so long, and you've always been the realest of the real. You know
my best, truly.
You know,
so, be who you are, truly. For everybody. Like, come on, man. Yes, the TV and the phones and everybody tells you to look like this, but even within that style, you can find your own style. You can find your own way. You can be your own person. That is what makes you cool. The individuality. It's been said since, you want to bring back the 90s? That's the most 90s. Like, dude, wear lime green, pink, purple, and all the things. Wear your fancy necklaces. Something that was handmade by yourself. No one's going to do it. You're going to do it. So be individual.
All right, we got my man Bryan here. He's a heavy hitter. He's going to show us how to throw a proper cross.
All right, guys. So a couple basics in throwing a punch, period. Stance is important. Where your grip and thumb is, very, very important. And your wrist, right? You don't want it twisting, moving, breaking, none of that, right? Follow through is also important. Balance and technique. If you don't do it right, you're going to get caught with your pants down. You're going to fall forward. You're going to look ridiculous. So throwing a balanced punch across in particular, super, super important. If my opponent is within range, of course, every situation is different, but the basics stay the same, right? Balance, technique, follow through. Right? My stance is very square. My weight is not forward. My weight is not back on my heel. It's very balanced in the center as well as my shoulder. If my attacker is in front of me, right, I don't want to be turned sideways. right? He could take advantage of this. So we're facing forward to our attacker, ready for anything that's coming in. When I throw my two is not going to put my weight on the front foot, and I'm not going to lean forward here, no weight on the back foot. Off balance, all my opponent would have to do is move out of the way and I fall forward and look ridiculous, right? When I follow through with my two, rotation comes from the ground to the knee, to the hip, to the shoulder, and then eventually out to your opponent, right? So having the proper stance and follow through is important. When I throw my punch hard, I want to sit down. I don't want to lean forward and then lose my balance falling, right? So this works in any situation. Your opponent's here, they say whatever they're going to say, slight step back to keep them out of distance. They take a step forward, you step through and throw your solid two, right? And it's right over the top. And throw it off, right? You don't want to be on line. If I'm throwing my punch and Fernando's throwing his punch, we could both knock each other out. But if I find an angle and he slips that punch that way and my punch follows through, that's what we're looking for, right? Proper cross. A person puts their hands on you, right? Shoom. Anytime, this is a push. He gets threat, he grabs my shirt, lock his hands up. Boom, over the top. Good stance, good rotation, good follow through. Never leaning forward so we both fall. Even if he's pulling me, I don't want to go with him. I want to sit back and I want to rotate hard, right? Bad one.
Oh.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that.
Thank y'all for joining us on another episode of Fortified Fatherhood. Big shout out and thank you to my man Bryan for dropping his knowledge and his wisdom on us. Stay fortified, y'all.
Yeah, they straight. Nah, I'm good. Got us straight. Straight, Philly mama.